chips. Trading cards and stacking chips. Trading cards and stacking chips. Trading. Where'd my pants go? Y'all, the sun be cooking me for real. I don't know what it is, but I don't really be thinking too much, man. I be like fighting this massive spiritual war, man. And it be like, I feel like the energy through the entire forest, bro. Like, I be feeling the energy all the way far, far away. Even here, in my measly camper. I be fighting your battles you don't even know you're fighting. Sitting here going, oh, stop. And then I eventually overcome, and then the people get angry, man. Look at this shit, dude. Here's just some more proof. They don't even care anymore. They don't even try to make it look like they, you know, they're getting fucking ballsy, dude. They're getting fucking ballsy, man. They don't give a fuck. They just come up here and smash my shit, bro. They know I can't afford a trail camera. There's nothing that could do that. They're taunting me. And my trash bags are missing. Bro! Bro! They came up here and took my fucking trash bags again, dude. And they smashed my awning, dude. But they don't take my bucket. That's why I don't think they're homeless people. They showed up and stole my trash bags and smashed my shit again. But I think that because Bucky's alive, I don't see why they would, like all my valuable stuff is untouched. It, it's people that know me personally that are coming up here and doing this. Okay. The name of the game for this evening, I have 44%. All I'm trying to do. What the fuck? So you don't want me to remove the mattress? It's moldy as fuck, dude. Every time I go to remove that mattress, the energy of the forest or the universe itself constricts on me, and I can't move, and I struggle, and I go, and I'm about to take a step, and then I'm like, I decide I'm gonna put the mattress, and then on my left side I see a beam of light go, no, and then a bird chirps. So then I look over here, and I'm like, so you don't want me to do the mattress? And I saw a thing of light right to left, and you hear the bird? Did you hear it? It's like I do this every day. It's like I go out here and have conversations. I saw a gray alien behind that chair. You can see him out of the corner of your eye because quantum mechanics. Okay, that was a. So that bird was signaling, and then I think a deer or a large animal just jumped. That's pretty cool. There's movement out in the forest. Look at all these fucking rocks. Look at all these rocks. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these rocks. So you hear everything on my right side now, all these chirps and crickets and stuff. I keep asking, you do not want me to remove this mattress. It's moldy, it's been out here for months, but every time I think about getting rid of it, I get all this, no, 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 don't. How about the cot? Okay, they're saying leave the cot in the shed. That's fair. And then, hear it? What the fuck was that, though? Something just Oh, I get it. Oh, I get it. And then notice how my phone starts doing the notifications when I raise my vibration and awareness to a higher truth and connect to a higher power. All of a sudden, my phone goes beep, 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 and then all the animals stop. I get it. It's a distraction. I was watching a tarot video, and it was somebody talking about Jesus, and then she goes, "I'm hearing Brian. Somebody's name, your name might be Brian, or somebody's name might be Brian," and then she says, "I think your accounts got, or their accounts got frozen until they help you again." So I'm like, hear him? It has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing. So I'm at least going to go edit the video, go clip that so that I can send that, because Brian just texted me that their accounts got frozen, and they're seeing that as confirmation that they should stop helping me, because they were trying to stop helping me. And then the tarot video talking about Jesus goes, literally, I'll post it. Goes, I'm hearing Brian, and then I'm hearing that their accounts got frozen because they decided to stop helping you, and it's gonna reopen when they do, which seems kind of like corporate espionage. And I'm like, I'm just a bystander, dude. This shit is happening around me. It makes me feel like I'm in a game. It's like when one thing goes right in my life, everything else goes wrong. And it just feels like life is just a series of parasitic attachments that are constantly trying to keep me unable to think. So I'll find focus in some type of bravery, I guess, where I can identify and combat what feels like being cooked in a spiritual microwave. I think it's probably divine protection of some kind. Like, I'll have full 4 bars of service, and then it will start reconnecting, and I'll get this really weird feeling like there's a spiritual purge because someone brought a lot of bad energy suddenly. Need this. I don't have, this will be, after this, I won't have enough money to go anywhere. I'll be officially out of money. And if that guy wants me to work for him, because I'd love to and I do a good job. And he said he'd been praying for people to help him. But all of a sudden, you know Casey's life, man. People around me go nuts. People, and I don't know what it is. People around me go crazy. And just crazy shit happens to people after they meet me. It's very weird. It's like the hitchhiker effect, but with challenges. It almost feels like they have to be humbled or something, or challenged, and then they see how tough it is, so then they can recognize that. I think that's probably why, upon meeting me, people are often challenged really heavily. Because they have to understand where I'm coming from and what was actually happening in the interaction. But yeah, I get tired. I was sent money. Oh, fuck. They fucking. Oh, God. Hold on. No. Okay, got it. Timmy Two Fingers over here. Just claw machine I've been out of vape for a while. The plan is to quit. I thought that vaping would be better than cigarettes. It turns out it's much worse. So that sucks. Oh, what was I saying? I was saying I got a tarot video and I'm gonna post it later. The other day that said she heard somebody's name, Brian, literally, and I'm gonna post it. And that their accounts were going to be frozen because they decided not to help me. And I'm like, that doesn't involve me. I'm not the catalyst for that. I'm just like a witness. And it makes me seem like, I don't want to be seen that way. There's a lot of birds around tonight. I'm putting socks on. Sitting on the toilet. After this, I'm gonna have to hunker down. I think this will be the last time I'm able, but you know how it works. So somebody just gave me somewhere in my car, there's an email for somebody that opens up a gym in a barn in a small town for I think it's like $10 a day, $30 a month. Probably even less. I think it was like $10 a day, $25 a month. And you can go 24/7, just pull up, and he doesn't care. And it's just by email. So that's going to be freaking sweet because it's a lot closer than the gym I go to, and it's just out of some guy's garage or like a barn or something. And he just tells people at the gas station, like, yeah, if you ever hear word of mouth, I open up my gym, just email me. I don't use it for passive income and to help people in the community. And then a homeless woman came out of the bathroom crying and said that thank you to the gas station lady for letting her wash up because she lives in her car and there's never anywhere she can go to shower. Casey, the CIA went in your account and blocked me. I just started this other account to message you. You joined 5 minutes ago. You made your account 5 minutes ago and Agent Smith is here. Bro, I'm not lying about the shooting stars and the birds. I held all my power in, but I kept it on that high frequency that triggers them just so you can hear them. Just so you can hear them freak out. I'm not crazy. It's like if you went down to the Amazon and you said, they wear feathers on their head. And then you went back to Europe and were like, they wear feathers on their head. And everyone's like, you're fucking schizo. What the fuck? Nobody wears feathers on their head. Look at us. We have dog hair. You know what I'm saying? You think your soul is worth your stupid job? I can't get a job. I'm trying. I posted on a group about my situation and somebody hit me up and said he had a job. So we met up at a restaurant and then he starts talking about how his dream in life is to build a community of a lot of people off grid with their own sort of systems in place to like, he's really interested in like creating a micro government, I guess. And I think that's cool. So I assumed he was an Aquarius. He is an Aquarius. And then all he was doing was talking about currency. So I assumed he was an 8 and he's born on the 17th and he's an 8 life path. Because most people don't really have they just kind of, most people don't really have the focus to like meticulous, and especially people that are like they value being authentic. You know what I'm saying? So with that authenticity, it's really easy to discern. It's harder to discern people that are fake and schemy weasels and shit. Then you have to like really look and be like, I don't really know what that guy is. But for people that are authentic and chill, like their astrology and numerology. But I had a hunch, and then we went outside. He was, even though he's Christian, he lives in a parsonage. I think I scared the dude away because he didn't answer me all weekend, and then said something came up or something, and then I can't, I was supposed to go to work today, and he said, I don't know, maybe some other time. So I was like, fuck, it's either the YouTube channel or I showed him too much of God that it created cognitive dissonance, and then they don't know how to function afterwards, which is what I've noticed that most times when I talk to Christians and I show them this shit. Like I'll say it again, man. I picked one chair in the middle of the bar outside at the outside portion when they were playing music, and I sat right in the middle, and the receipt in front of me was number 222. So I'm like, line from the universe. But I noticed it. And then he offers to pay for the drinks. I'm like, cool. And then the waitress or the server looks at him and goes, that'll be $8. But then she turns to me, looks me right in the eyes, and goes, actually, it'll be $777. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then I was like, okay, I just got this sudden feeling that nothing was real and they were all paid actors. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm not going to believe that. I'm going to look for evidence. So then I look at the game playing, and it's Case, immediately, big flash, KC with the crown on it. It's a KC Royals game. And who are they with? The Angels. You know what I'm saying? And the KC Royals actually beat the Angels in that game, but I don't think that matters as much. That was an unusual robotic noise. And then the thing with that weird feeling that like something like the universe likes being just like almost possible, where they like play with you a little bit. This guy that's selling the thing for about 5 to 6 grand for this wetland, and it's not all wet. There's it's pretty decent chunk that I could put at least like a deck board, like a pallets deck, another deck on top of it, plastic wrap over the whole thing so that the wet doesn't really affect it. Like try to put something on it to make it so the wood doesn't, or get like a metal base or something. And then just put it on like stone pillars, and then every few years just fill in more concrete if it starts to whatever. And then just put a cabin tent on it, and then in the summertime I can chill if I want to. But I can't find the right-of-way access. So I text him like, where's the legal, it says it has right-of-way access. Where's the legal right-of-way? Which property of the 5 surrounding properties to this one in the middle do I have legal access to get to my land if I buy it for that? And then the guy goes, it's kind of mysterious, isn't it? That's not something somebody that's trying to sell you something should say. Because the guy has no profile picture and no friends on Facebook. So I assumed he was an old guy that made Facebook just for this, or didn't want people knowing who he was or where he lived or anything. And that's already kind of freaky. But I'm still like, okay, at least I know the people who own that little piece live in Connecticut anyway. So it's not like, I would just say you got to show up with the deed and I'll give you the money, but I'm not going to do anything over the phone. Like if I were to get to that position, I would handle it correctly, but the way the guy is kind of talking to me is really weird. So it's like everything that I was blessed with like suddenly got weird, and I'm here like this is what's happening, and I can clearly see it. It's that obvious. It's that obvious. When I decided not to accept the 222 as the angel number, the waitress looks me right in the eyes, even though I'm not the one paying, and then says another angel number, and like really hammers it at me. And then I look above her, and then KC with the crown flashes right above her on the TV screen. But I don't know about every time I try to remove this mattress and cot, it's like the birds on my left side go crazy and I start to feel like I really shouldn't do it. Why doesn't it want me to get rid of this mattress? It's like probably moldy and it's been out here for months. Like it's wet, dude. Yeah, I'm not sleeping that anymore, man. But maybe just not today. Maybe like some other day, or like during the day. Or maybe the place I would be going to put the mattress at, because I would be dumping it on the side of the road where other people dump their free stuff. There's like these like pull-offs on back roads in small towns where people dump their free stuff around those rural areas. I'd be putting it there. Maybe a cop will be sitting there tonight or something. So then it would just stink up my car. That might be it. But do I have everything? I have my vape, I have my wallet, I have my keys, I have my boots, I have my hair tie, I have my computer, I have my charger. Come on over, you're a bully to harm an old lady and old man. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. So I guess you have blocked me from him seeing this message too. How lovely for you. This isn't like a... That's like something I'd hear in Home Alone too. There's that weird noise again. There's something out there. I hear it at night. Bro, what are you guys talking about? I'm looking at the stars. You can't see them. Oh, I didn't have all messages on. My fault, my fault. I didn't know there was this whole thing going on. Belly nothing, show them boobies. There you are. You aren't special. You think you're supposed to look out the window. Come on over. Silly goose, so I guess you have blocked me from it seeing this. Your time is short, man. You need to repent, seriously. Not smart to give up your soul for a bully job where you sit on old people and persecute them. Does your wife and mother know you torture old people? I'm sure they would be quite proud of you. Do you think I'm old? Or are you old? I'm 26, man. You calling me old, man. There's got to be something I can grab to make this better for myself. Seriously, not smart to give up your soul for a bully job where you shit on old people and persecute them. Oh, are you mad at me for talking that boomers are old retards? I thought my car door was closed. I went to lock it. Is that about the boomer post where I said the boomers are slow? Let it go. Oh, you sent me $5. Thank you. Sucks YouTube takes fucking $2.50 of that. I wish YouTube would make it kinder, but I get it. I wish YouTube had the ability to have super chats go directly to Cash App without YouTube has this thing like you can't. I'm at like I think so far since I've been monetized, I've made like with this it'll be $30. I can't really pull. I'm not allowed to pull money out of that until I hit $100. Once I hit 100, there's a minimum payment of $100. And then YouTube is changing the monetization because people with AI have ruined the way it was. So now there's like, because of AI channels, everything's changing. There's got to be something I can grab that I can throw out. I don't know. I was gonna take the gazebo because they're just gonna keep breaking it. I'm gonna take it down, and then not the metal one because they don't touch the metal one. And I was gonna get rid of this mattress, but every time I try, the birds all go nuts. But it's moldy and like. Maybe I was thinking about it the wrong way. And now they're going right to left. If I just think about dumping it on the other side over there, hey man, it's looking over the fence. I don't have a fence, dude. It's just me and the elements. And this last bit, I've got like 4 pounds of fat left I'm trying to get rid of. It's just me, the elements, and this 4 pounds of fat I gotta get rid of still. Pinch, 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 pinch. What the fuck was that? Cease with these incessant noises. All right. I'm going to edit I'm going to cut the bit of the tarot video where it says, I hear Brian and their accounts are going to be frozen until they help you. And I'm trying to say that that has nothing to do with me. But it's weird that it's happening. Because what Brian had said to me was that I'm being tortured. Tortured is not the word I would use it, but it does seem deliberate. But I can't tell exactly how much of it is actually like this greater intelligence at work, or if it's just like the system of the world that we're inside. Like it might be a natural thing for the planet. No, I don't think it's that either. For some reason, when good things happen to me, or I do good things, or I become happy or proud of myself, the world turns on me and people go insane. The more progress I make, the more other people around me devolve, and then they'll often come at me and try to hurt me in any way that they can. And that's been going on for years. I have a lot of that on my channel. Like when I went to Long Lake and got a gym membership and got a job, and then immediately they damaged my car, false police reports every day. I have videos of them screaming at me, and I walked around picking up trash. I didn't do anything to anybody. I walked around and cleaned up all the trash in that town because I was bored and I had nothing to do and I couldn't go anywhere and I wanted to do a good thing. So, and then I have a video of them all just like, it's not normal the way they were acting. That they were fucking crazy, dude. And a lot of that has happened off camera. So somebody messaged me and said that it's my fault that stuff's happening because I'm running from God. And how could I be running from God? I'm standing right here and talking to God all day. And then the KC Royals, and then the angel numbers that pointed me to look at the screen when I'm talking to another Christian about building a community. The only thing I do that's bad is I vape, and I don't really put a lot of focus into what I say. I'm very impulsive with what I say because I'm going through a lot of shit all the time. Oh, you're talking about that? Those are solar lights. What you pack in a 2x4? Ryan, the alignment it's my friend's name. 1742, that's 8 and 6. But yeah, Demon Hunter's husband Ryan messaged me and said that something I said to Demon Hunter made her really upset, and I can't believe that I'm treating her like everybody else in her life. I'm like, who is treating her? Who is everybody? You're everybody else. You're the only, you and the family are the only other people. Everybody else is you. Why are you mad I'm treating him like you? That's everybody else in her life. What are you talking about, man? But I'm like, that just seems like really incessant negativity and drama. But then he said that because I pushed Demon Hunter away, they're no longer sending me the tithe, and then after they decided not to send me the tithe, a moth just hit my eye right to left. After they decided to stop sending me the tithe, all their accounts got frozen. And I have a tarot video that came out that I watched that said, I hear the name Brian, and it's saying their accounts are going to get frozen because they decided to stop helping you. And then she goes off about Jesus for like 10 minutes. So I'm going to go to the gym and clip that, because that has nothing to do with me. That whole situation, I'm just standing here, okay? But I did say, it's kind of hard to run from God when I can't go anywhere, you know what I'm saying? Seems like God just kind of comes in and tells me good job after I go through like months of what feels, I don't, torture just seems like dramatic, but it does feel like that. Didn't Casey's uncle took 357 to the chest and still kicked the guy out? Red Demon? Casey, did you get the 130 we sent you through Chime? No, I don't even know if I have Chime downloaded. I appreciate it. I was talking about I don't know what I said to make you upset. But Brian had said that you guys stopped or decided something with not sending money, and that's cool. I never feel like it's not an obligation, and I appreciate it. But I do have a tarot video that came out by Linda Likes Tarot, and she's like devout, hardcore Christian. Where she literally says, I hear Brian, and then I hear their accounts are getting frozen because they stopped helping you. And I want to clip it just to send, but I don't want it to be seen as like a threat. Like, if you stop sending me money, you're gonna get punished. I don't care if you send me money or not, man. I appreciate it. I'll stand here and be like, how can I help? And then for a long time it was fix the garage, and then for a long time it was put micro green farm, then for a long time it was put she shed, and then for a long time it was build clothing workshop, and then it was build retaining walls because natural disasters are only going to increase, and they live on a hillside. So start building retaining walls and drainage and all that stuff to protect it, and also something with the town, some like big position in the town. And then I come to find out your family are millionaires and they're the mayor of the town, and the town is like only 1,000 people. So you've got like a kingdom there. So that's like primarily what I would be focused on. There's never any animosity there. If I call you crazy, it's just something like I'm crazy and everyone's crazy. You know, just accept it, bro. The whole world is crazy. Moth, what caliber is your demon hunting ammo so I know to buy the right armor to protect my demon ass, Stephen Plum? No, I violated terms on my Cash App and now it's closed. We didn't plan to not send money to you just because I was going to stop commenting for a while. I don't know. I'll post it. I'll clip it and post it, because it's pretty like, you'll hear it and be like, that's my life, dude. Like, that happened. Like, I had known that was going to happen, but I just was like, okay, maybe not. But Brian said that my life sucks because I'm running away from God, so that's why I'm being like, that's why all this bad stuff is happening to me, is because I'm running from God. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to explain it's more like Jon Snow in Game of Thrones, that meme where it's the Battle of the Bastards and he's the only one standing there with the sword and they're all running at him. That's what it feels like, more than like running away and God is chasing me and I'm running through like brambles and falling and spraining my ankle in the woods and like crawling, and because I'm trying to get away from God. It's more the opposite, where it's like coming at me and I'm here trying to, it's not even chasing God either. It's just trying to make things happen and the world wants to stop it. Yeah, I'll download Giant. That's cool because it means that, I mean, I don't know if that guy's going to get back to me. I said that every boss that I have has a 4-letter name. This guy has the same name as my dad, but just 2 letters are rearranged. And he's not a Leo, but he's an 8-day, 8-life path. So it's a 4-letter name with the 8s, so 8 and 4 still. And then the last guy was a Leo 22 with a 4-letter name, Ryan. And then before that was a Leo born on the 4th, 4-letter name, Eric. And then before that, in 2024, it wasn't really a boss, but I was outside a guy named Phil, who's the governor of Vermont. I was outside his office every day, and that's when I got the most views of the history of my channel, just out there yelling at the phone in front, right in the capital of Vermont, just standing outside Phil's office in Leo season. And then before that, it was Owen, and he was born on the 22nd. And then before that, it was Jack, and he was born on the 13th, or maybe it was the 31st. And then before that, before Jack, so that would be 2021, it was John, John, and he was a Leo, either 31 or 13. It added up to 4, I remember. And then 2020, I don't remember Nate's birthday. I think it was like the 15th, or I don't think he's a 4, and he's also a Cancer. But there was Nate, but I mainly got, I think, isn't that when Doge, D-O-J-E, so 4 letters, primary source of income. And then 2019, I worked at the Works in Brattleboro, which is a bagel place. And I'm trying to remember the manager's name. I think it was Mary. 2018, I'm not going to remember that. 2018, it was a Greek. I worked at a Greek pizza place as a delivery guy. I can't remember. I can't remember their names, if it was 4-letter names or not. But my coworkers were Kat and Stacy. To show the names, Kat, K-A-T-T, and Stacy, like Casey. Also, someone named Casey is giving me a shit ton of an entire walkway more of this gravel. It's not gravel, it's rocks. I'm getting an entire other walkway that I'm gonna load up and bring. So hopefully it'll be thin, and then I'll probably move these pavers to that right side there, and then I'll lift the gazebo. Hopefully, I mean, if I did get that job with the carpenter, somebody's offering a 10 by 12 deck, and this gazebo is 10 by 12 and it's raised. So then oh, it's vape. Geek bar. Which is actually much worse than cigarettes. I thought it was better. It's actually much worse for you. So now I have to quit the geeks. But there's this really good, I've been looking into alternatives. There's actually a cheaper 100 instead of 50k geek bars, there's a 100k vape that you can buy online that don't, instead of like 5% or like 6 or whatever nicotine that the geek bars have, it's down to 2%, and you get more puffs out of it, and they say the flavor tastes better. So I'm going to try to get a bunch of those in bulk, and I might even try to partner with them and have an affiliate code or something to just keep on me, so that every time I go around I can show people this is way cheaper, and try to maybe get commission off that or something. But if I can get 250, I can get, so 250 I could get the deck. I'm getting these pavers for free. Also, somebody's selling a bunch, like she said she has 100 pavers for $100, and that's in Vermont, that's a really good steal. Usually that would be like $400 or higher, and they're nice looking. So I would get those too, so I could line the walkway and then put this in the walkway, take these pavers, and eventually it'll be some type of seating area, because it's really nice to sit on those on the chair, and then try to raise that off the ground on the deck, and then just get rid of everything else. And then I'll feel like my work is semi-complete here. I'd also like to get log siding for this frame, so that on the side is log siding, and then find something to do with the lattice and all the spare wood, like build a little shack. Take the camper out, which is an eyesore, and instead put a little shack. Like a 8x10 shack with a porch instead of a 32-foot camper. So that's just a bedroom, and it's like on stilts a little bit, so you know it looks nice instead of this dilapidated camper. I want to make it so people want to come up here after I'm gone, because nobody wants to come here. And I think that these Christian Freemasons are doing a lot of spell work, because all of a sudden at random it's like I get hacked spiritually, and then I can see their energies are so rigid and old, and they've lost the plot a long time ago, and oh, shooting star right to left. I don't know if you saw that one. Did you see it? And it's not a shooting star, because shooting stars are straight. This one curves, so down like that. I saw the UFO when I was saying that they're doing spiritual spell work and they lost the plot and they got stuff wrong with them, and I'm feeling it. They're attacking me and they're ruining the space, and that's why nobody comes here. Because why would God send people just to get, not realizing they're looking for God, and they're in a sea of their consciousness and influence, which is why they get so upset. And that's why God, I shit on the ground, dude. And then I went to clean it, and it was like I couldn't. Suddenly I got really tired, and so I went back and went to sleep. And when I woke up, they were all here. So I think it was really funny that they came up here looking for a piece of crap, and they found a turd. Because I think God has a sense of humor. So we have this random plane has spawned. So I'm going to show you that it's going to go right above my head. It's 360p. Tough. I have barely any service out here. I'm surprised you can even hear me cohesively without any lag. I've asked the shooting stars for years if they're benevolent, and they've never answered. And a lot of other people's testimony about the same aliens that I see are stuff like abuse and rape, and they go through like torture. Sort of like how we go in and take animals from places and test on them and sample them and then dump them. I don't think the aliens are as kind. But they did answer to, were you upset at the cruelty that happened to me? they did give me right to left for that, so maybe that's why I'm not getting like beamed up and probed and shit. Maybe maybe they go to the reptilian commander or the mantis commander and they go, yo, this guy's been just like going through so much shit. I don't even know why, like they're probably confused why it's happening too. Or maybe they're also trying to understand God and we're God's creation. So they're like trying to figure out what's going on too. I don't know, man. The fact that nobody acknowledges what I say, the stuff that I talk about, nobody ever says anything about it. Makes me think that they're not real, or they're retarded, or cognitive dissonance. They're not, you know. But I'm not running from God. I'm out here talking to God, trying to get some form of communication. And then I get it. I remember I went out here and went, am I on the right path? Am I on the right path? Am I on the right path? And then like 2 days later, I'm at the bar, and then the receipt in front of me was 222, and then I don't acknowledge it, and then the waitress goes, actually, it's not $8, it's 777, and looks me right in the eyes, even though I'm not the one paying. And then I look up behind her, and the TV flashes, and then a big KC on the TV, and then a crown on it, and then next to it was the angels. Bruh, like, come on. And then I kept ignoring it. Like, I just was like, okay, moving on with my day. And then I'm driving down the road yesterday, and then I got hit with this vision. I didn't have phone service. It was this big vision, and then it just played the scene again in my mind. Like I was there again, even though I was driving. It was like I literally got transported back, and there was like a huge, heavy emphasis on the numbers. So then when I get service, I Google it. I was like, what do the numbers mean? And then 222 means you're on the right path. And then 777 was spiritual awakening. And then I look up higher, and then Casey with the crown on it and the angels. So I'd been coming out here and being like, I don't know if I'm on the right path. Am I on the right path? Am I on the right path? And then it was that obvious. But I say this to people, and I show people like right in front of their faces. Like I showed the guy at the bar that, and he's Christian. I showed him that when I started talking about the spirit, like waking up to the matrix and the spirituality stuff. One of the waitresses, like this older woman, moves to the middle of the room, just stands there, starts twitching and stomping. I see her like letting the dark energy possess her, and then she immediately turns like a robot and then walks up to me, stops right next to me, then opens the door, goes into the room. I can see her. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't grab anything. She just goes and stands in the room for a second, and then she walks back out. And I could see the whole thing was about this, like, using focus to harvest electromagnetic energy. So, like, imagine a bee had a magnet and it could make a noise and then bring all the pollen to itself, instead of having to rub the pollen and then take it away. Or like Ultron in Avengers Age of Ultron, how he, for some reason, he just had the ability to go wow, and then the fucking ground would lift. It's like that, but like trying to pull it towards yourself. So she stood next to me and tried to go to pull something that I couldn't see, which now I see is probably energy of some kind, because people that go to bars often see spirituality as transactional and harvestable, and you can take it from somebody else for yourself. That's pretty much all bar culture is paganism. So she started trying to do that, like just right in front of everybody. And then it was really cool that that same day there was a girl that said she really liked my hair, and then another girl next to her started going off about how she's English, how she has English genetics, and that's why she has straight hair. And she was just kept like, The way she lowered her tone so much to be like, I'm English. Like she's punching me. And I'm like, she's like a 30-year-old kind of fat girl at the bar, starts like throwing the word English at me like it's a punch, even though she has a high-pitched voice. She like really deepened it to try to like lunge the word at me. And I was like, she's obviously like drunk. And then what they say about alcohol, that it opens yourself up to spirits, and it's just something fucking with me, trying to make me respond, you know, so that there's an attachment there. People just started saying and doing things to sort of get at me a little bit. Things that it knew that I would respond to. So I thought that was pretty funny. I think they believe you, but what do we do about it? I saw 20 UFOs today after shooting star. When I tell people, they brush it off as drones or something. If they were all in the line, they're saying that's Starlink. If they're going around like they're like the same color as the stars, the same, they're perceived as the same size as the star, but then they'll all like be like, can you like go this way? And then they'll do a loop-de-loop, or they'll beam off and then come back. When I see them, they do stuff that drones wouldn't do. And I'm hearing, I just immediately, I tried to like astral project to where you live to see like what's going on in their life. And then immediately I heard natural disaster, and I saw a mud flood. Like you might get a hurricane or something, and all the dirt sort of behind the house up to the garage, mud flood. And then I saw California gets hit by a tsunami suddenly. And then I saw that northeastern, like Nova Scotia to Montreal, that patch of land up there in like the northeast is going to be safe. And then I said, is West Virginia going to be safe? And then a sort of like cat-like, feminine voice goes, obviously, because Will Survives was led there and is building a community with a guy named John and Jesse. And they're starting up an off-grid community down there. So I was like, is West Virginia going to be safe? And they're like, obviously, because God is leading people there. I was wrong about West Virginia. West Virginia doesn't have any lakes. Vermont has a lot of lakes, but the mountains in West Virginia are actually bigger. Like the hills around are actually, on average, bigger. Like the biggest mountain in West Virginia is only 400 feet higher than the biggest mountain in Vermont. But the other mountains across West Virginia are actually bigger. I don't know, man. If I didn't know anything about UFOs and somebody told me they're seeing 20 UFOs and they're talking to people that are getting shooting stars and they're having experiences where they're meeting aliens, and then they didn't know anything about it, and then all of a sudden everywhere on the internet is talking about the same, like years after he talks about it, now all these podcasts are talking about seeing the same things. The praying mantis aliens, the insectoid looking things, and then the Native American folklore. I just saw a big bright light in the sky go pew. There was floods this past weekend. Our houses was okay, but the town and surrounding areas, it got pretty bad. I don't know, man. We're getting tornadoes now up here. I'll download Chime. You didn't have to send me money. I mean, Brian had said he had made it kind of clear that he thought that your account's getting frozen was confirmation that they should stop. I think he also said something like that they send me money because he met me and they follow God and their religion tells them to, and that's it. Nothing else. So I don't know what he meant by that. I don't know. I never implied that it was like anything else. Oh, maybe it was about like power games or something. I don't think it's about power games. I think that it's more. I think what's the verse in Matthew that you have to fast until you can find demons you didn't even realize were affecting, and that those things are only getting worse, and life is chaotic, and it does seem to have an agenda and intelligence. And in my life, it seems like people tend to get hijacked. And I think that you thought that was about you, and I wasn't necessarily saying it was about you, more like, I don't know, there's just something there. There's something there, and I don't know what it is. It could be trauma, it could be, I don't want to say it's pride or narcissism, but it's something. And I'm not, I think the fact that you take it personally, I'm not making it personal. I'm not saying it's you. I'm saying it's something. I don't know what it is. I think there's something that you made it feel a personal attack. It's not about that, but I get how it sounds. I think there is something there, and I just don't know what it is. I heard addiction. Something floated above the tree over there, and then it changed the waves, and then it said addiction. Past addiction. And the way to fix that is tough. Because when I ask for a way to fix it, I see that there needs to be a wider open space. Like I wish I could build a giant retaining wall right on the side of that road, and then we could just fill in that whole section with dirt, so that you have a bigger yard there. And then, but it might be a metaphor for something else. It might be just like compression on your personal consciousness, or somebody's. I don't know, but I think for $25,000 down, $700 a month, there is 105 acres 20 minutes from where you live that goes up a mountainside, and it's this big hillside, like this mountain, 100 acres for 25 down, 700 a month. And I don't know if that's for you or not. Maybe if it has like rivers going through it, but I thought that's pretty cool. Also, I just feel like something like that would be important, and then something about making, I don't know, maybe if that's my dream or not. I don't ever want to impose on the achievements of the family. Like, I know that even though your brother-in-law is a millionaire, you guys are doing things yourself. You want to do things yourself, and that's honorable. So I don't want to impose on that by saying, like, I'll bring an excavator down there and we'll build this giant retaining wall and extend your yard out. I think he wants to do it by himself. And but I think that property is important, maybe. And then this property up here, the 337 acres, it's down. It was 1.5 million, but because nobody's buying it, he's brought it down to 680,000. I don't really feel like, I feel like it would be a bad thing to pollute it with the wrong people. But I did meet a Christian whose goal is to build a community off-grid, and I want to build a sanctuary. And then his other dream was to take his wife, and she has a baby on the way, and go to homesteads across the country and come back. And that was one of my dreams too. I wanted to create this loop for people so that they could go out and come back and work on improving sanctuaries. And he wants to do that too. This is what it looks like on the other end. When I'm talking like this, I'm looking up like this the whole time, just staring at the sky, looking for shooting stars. What was I saying? Oh yeah, he said that he could probably come up with 100 grand through 8 people that have the same mission in life as I do. But he wants to go out to Montana to do that. And I'm like, man, you'd be going to a flat place with nothing out there. Appalachia, every turn you take is another adventure. He hasn't spent enough time like traveling around the area to love it the way that I do. I hate the people, but I love the place. When you go, it's like God put a lot of work into this mountain region. And then the further out you go, it's just the same tree, and it's mostly flat. Some parts of the map look like no developer, like the developers just didn't care about building it. They just kind of threw it out there. But like here, there's like intricate weavings of rivers and roads and covered bridges, and you never know which back road's going to have the white supremacist Norse pagans that are sacrificing goats, and which turn you're going to find a hippie community of hot lesbians, and which turn you're going to find like a guy that looks like, I don't know, he looks like fucking fat Zaboomafoo, and he's sitting out there with a gun on his porch. And then there's another guy who built his own house, and his family's all dead, and he's just sitting by himself, and the house is run to shit because he's depressed, and he just mows people's lawns sometimes and survives off government check. When you go out to like Montana, there's just nothing, and it's flat, and then you get this kind of a view of mountains in the background, but you'd have to drive like 4 hours to get there. But if you go into those mountains, sometimes you can find abandoned towns that nobody lives in and nobody does anything with. That would be interesting for me, because one time my dead brother, John Michael, he had this dream of going to Montana. So I started looking at land out there, and then I found that there's this abandoned, empty town in the mountains, and I just felt like taking him there. And then I looked, and the name of the town is the same last name as he has. Same last name. I just like looked at a random map of Montana, found this abandoned ghost town in the mountains, and I wanted to take him there, and we could build it up and make a studio solar and do YouTube and stuff. And it had the same last name as him. He's Brian's cousin, and he doesn't give out money like that. He was a pastor though. I mean, realistically, I could have fixed the car by now, and I could have had money saved up. I think I spent 1 month, I spent a good proportion of the money on these pavers and getting stuff on Marketplace and the gazebo. And then the next month, it went to another gazebo, and then getting these rocks and cinder blocks, and then gym membership and gas to get to the gym. Buying vapes for the month is $60 a month, and it's the equivalent of 6 times going to the gym. So instead, if I wanted the vapes, I just canceled the gym membership for a month because I wanted to buy vapes and quit cigarettes because I was starting to get really kind of freaking out without it, not gonna lie. So that was a big waste on my part. Other than that, the deck boards, these decks, it was a pretty long drive. Oh, and I had to buy these tools. I bought all these power tools, the drill and the skill saw, and I bought but the wood, I got that, I did get that with the weekly money, was the woodshed and the carpenter's light. It was mainly just stuff for the property, and to be honest with you, things probably would have gone better if I didn't buy anything at all, and I just laid in the back of this camper and waited. But I was like, I think it was how they were starting to treat me. Like, they gave me a deadline and to do projects around the property, and I didn't have the means to do that, and I couldn't afford to do that, but I could afford to do this. So I thought that this would be faster, and ultimately more things could be done with this. And then later on, I was like, I'm kind of glad I didn't panic too hard about what they kind of told me to do, because God had revealed to me, why the fuck are they trying to get you to clean up their mess, and they're mad about the improvements you're making? They should be cleaning up their own mess instead of persecuting you for not cleaning up theirs. They let the apple orchard get so out of control the trees fell over and can't be used. They let it get so overgrown that the prayer stations are covered in saplings that need a brush cutter and a hand tiller, which I do have now. They don't put bug spray here. They don't build gazebos with mosquito nets so people hang out. They actually talk about how they don't want anybody coming here, and completely doing the opposite of what the owner wants. And then when I started making improvements, they sabotage it. They literally stole my trash bags again, dude. They stole my fucking trash bags, and they smashed the gazebo again. Look, I'll show you before I go. Also, this is how the grass is starting to grow in. So I like this. I'm not sure if I like this. I might just put one on the side there and then have it go flat again with this one. Or it might look nicer, to be honest, because I have two halves. If I just break them into quarters and then put a quarter here and a quarter there and then rearrange it, it might look actually better as quarters. So because it's already broken, I might just break it once more. Because then if it's quarters, then I can do one big one, one big one, one big one, one big one, four, and then I can put these put the four quarters I would break in between that, so I could kind of move it around the way that I like it, and the grass would grow through, which is really cool. And then if it ever gets overgrown like that, it's pretty easy to just put the lawnmower back over. And I do have somebody, now that I have that 130, I'm able to go back and get the rest of this from those nice lesbian ladies from Massachusetts that gave me this, that live out in the islands. And they also have an entire garden of hardy perennial plants that are very expensive and rare from the previous wealthy owners. They live like 3 doors down from Bernie Sanders. And they said that they bought it 2 years ago, and the people who bought it before, I guess that they said that their garden was full of plants that don't grow very high, and they're pretty expensive, and the winter doesn't kill them off, and they grow back every year, and they don't spread crazy, but they do spread. So, and they flower really nicely, and they help the bees a lot. So instead of this stuff, whatever this is, which doesn't look great in my opinion, I would take it down and then put all the hardy plants in around, or at least put it on either side of this walkway and in this section here, and then put like rose bushes in and stuff, or like some type of flower bush that doesn't grow out of control and spread. Like rose bushes grow out of control. I want to use the rose bushes instead of pricker bushes, so I would be hand tilling and cutting out all the prickers. So at some point I'm gonna need somebody to call the owner and tell him, hey, I don't know what happened, but this is what Casey's done in my life. I think he's really cool, and he's doing great things on your property to help a lot of people. And I just wanted to let you know that whatever happened was not on him, and you should be thanking him, because he's somebody that will fight to the end of the earth for people that don't give a fuck about him just because it's the right thing to do. And then maybe send him a picture when the gazebo's done and be like, the Knights of Columbus will never send you this, but take a look at what he did for other people. And it will be this cool little winding path with paver stones and then really kind of rare, nice looking plants that grow every year. And then the gazebo will be raised up a little bit off the ground there. There's no such, what are you talking about, leopard, man? Oh, leopard is the name. All right. 10/22/91, he's a master number Scorpio. He's a master number Scorpio 7 life path. It's powerful, man. What's it? You applied for the job? I can't remember what job. No, the winter solstice is always on, and the equinox and stuff. I think it's the equinox, right? Or maybe it's the summer and winter solstice. Those are on the 21st, right? Wherever the solstices are, the next day would be when the zodiac cycle starts. I would say that the 22nd is, because it's such a deeper, more powerful energy, I wouldn't really classify it as one or the other. And it's, your sun sign is just your job. Like if I can, I can quit my job and become a doctor over time, or I could quit being a doctor and go being a boat fisherman in Alaska. I'm a Sagittarius or Ophiuchus, that's your job. But your moon and your Venus and your Mercury, that's like the really, intertwined, deep functionality of your consciousness. All the other stuff but your sun sign is, the sun sign is just the core identity. But a 22 is the master builder. Fousey Tube's a 22, George Washington's a 22. The best advice for anybody is consistent action, but I gotta know the zodiac. I gotta know the Chinese zodiac. Metal goat. Okay, I was thinking metal. I was thinking there was something to, when I immediately clocked the energy, I didn't see any fire. And I didn't see any water either. I saw this piercing white going downward, like the beak of a bird or something. But not the beak of a bird, but just the shape of the light. And it was white and black instead of like a color. So I did assume metal. because metal is like the absence of emotion and creativity, and it's purely disciplined. So I was thinking about that with the growth, how the best advice for um, 22s is discipline, and that being the master builder, it takes away the it's less creative. So I was already seeing a lack of creativity, and it's more structural and growth over consistency and building things, but more about the action of building things, like putting block after block and or building a system. And there was less emphasis on the creative aspect. So there needed to be a contrast. There needed to be something artistic. So you are the goat and you are the Scorpio, which is the revival, the scorpion into the phoenix, that alchemical transformation and transmutation constantly. I would say that you start off with a really simple life that lacks, okay, no, I mean, that was right to, no. Um, I saw that you're in the deep darkness, but not the bad darkness or the sort of taboo darkness that people associate darkness with here. I just mean darkness as in sort of like what, I mean, maybe it's dark matter, or like the part of the universe that's constantly expanding. Like the universe is not growing in a sense of like planets are flying away from us, and that the boundary of the universe is what's pulling it outward. It's more like the dark matter in between all these stars and planets and us. Everything, all that dark matter is expanding. It's not called dark matter, is just a theory because they don't understand what it is. But that type of darkness is, I think we're 11s. What the fuck was that? You heard it? Where that 11s and 22 energy lives is in that sort of dark matter space that people call ancient wisdom. So I saw that, but I saw that there was this piercing downward focus to it. And that piercing downward focus I associated with metal because it lacked emotion and creativity. And I'm just looking for what the purpose is. I'm looking to see you build like an aqueduct, like a Roman architecture, like I've seen for other Scorpio 22/7s. Um, I'm looking for like this big systematic thing. And I think that I don't know if you're the same person that I did a reading for that was studying esoteric occult stuff, and they were working on writing a book, and I saw that they needed a study, like they needed to turn a room in a house into like one of those really old fancy looking like mahogany brown stained wood, and all the books are there, and they're in like a nice sort of like wooden chair with cushions on it, and they're sitting in the study reading and taking what they find and organizing it into a body of work. I saw that for another Scorpio 7, I think. And I also think it was a 22. It was definitely a 22. I don't remember what the life path was, but I think it was also a 7. And I think it also was a Scorpio. So that's what I don't think she was a metal goat, though. I think she was a tiger. Um, I'm looking for what your purpose could be. Okay, I see like a burger joint. I see like you going to a burger joint, and it's outside and there's picnic tables. Oh, I went to that burger joint when I went to go hook up with my ex, and her foster mom was this independent, wealthy woman that lived in a house by herself, and she went and she got a guy's number at the burger joint, and he came and they hooked up that night. And I was like, that's a pretty good example for like a boss bitch, I guess, like like a successful but also kind. I think her name was Brandy. I was like, that's a really good role model for my ex, who is a DCF kid like me, to have around, because my ex was a Leo. So like it was really, I think about my exes all the time. I was like, that was probably a really good a really good role model for her to have. Shooting star left to right saying, no, it wasn't. Okay. Or maybe I'm derailing or something. But it wasn't a shooting star. That was just like a light in the sky that was like waving, like feathered out light, like energy in the fire horse here. Maybe that's not your purpose, to be a independent businesswoman that goes to like the local small town thing and dates instead of like finding a long-term partner. Because what do you do when the crows astral projection their omnipresent consciousness into the fourth dimension? They keep breaching my protection circle. I need help. And the crows astral projection their omnipresent consciousness into the fourth dimension. I try to fight them back, and then they sound like alarm clocks, and they'll just scream at me, and I can see them literally tearing at the fabric of my being until I can't function, and I can't think. And then I often will, like, my impulsive thoughts sound like a crow, to be honest, because it's just what you consume consumes you. You know, if your influences are just crows screaming at you all day, and I'm like empathically picking up their behavior and their system, I guess, it sort of does kind of embed in myself on accident. I start to think like crows, to be honest with you, and I haven't figured out how to stop it. I've tried, you know, at first they adapt so quickly. They're the perfect challenge. Because maybe for the first 2 days, I can take a metal bat and slam it on the ground, on the rocks, and that scares them away. But eventually they stop giving a fuck. You can go out there and yell at them and clap, and eventually they stop giving a fuck. The only thing you can really do is shoot one in front of the others. But you can only do that in my state in like 2 weeks out of the year is crow hunting season. You're allowed to kill crows 2 weeks out of the year. So they might forget, and then they'll come back in May, and they just don't stop. But what I've found is you just have to get into the rhythm of life and learn how to control the chaos, and then learn how to create boundaries very quickly using the Higgs boson, and then assert your intentions. And then you have to understand that everything going on outside of your eyes is a reflection of what's going on in what you perceive as your inner narrative. So the crows often leave me alone when I get off YouTube and people are busy in their life. And then when people start, in the town, people start talking shit about me, then they're mounting up an army to come bother me, or they're going to do something bad. When they're talking negatively about me or they have malicious intent, that will trickle to the crows because they can see it and I can't, because it's just floating around in the informational base of surrounding my auric field or whatever. So when they're flying around trying to do their hunting, and then all of a sudden they're like getting hit with the negative intentions for me, now they're barking the same way back at the negative intentions, or they're accidentally impulsively receiving those negative intentions and are responding accordingly. So like when I start to do really good and I'm feeling really good and I'm happy and doing good things, the thing around me that feels like sort of like the thing in Hereditary, like with the dollhouse and it's controlling the people, whatever thing that is, which they associate actually, which is really funny that I'm getting inspired to say this, because that guy in Hereditary is actually a giant crow. Isn't that crazy? Fucking the monster in Hereditary is actually a giant crow spirit. So that's who that thing is, by the way, if you ever watch Hereditary. And also Paranormal Activity, how it has bird feet when they put the powder on the ground to see what it is, and it's a giant crow. The monster from Paranormal Activity and Hereditary are both giant crows. And that comes from like a really ancient, bad group of people that legitimately believe that one of the one of the like overseers of the dark realm is a massive crow. Or that's the form it likes to take. But what I do, you learn, I don't like to call it self-actualize because it has a lot of high vibrational context to it. That has like an intellectual, oh, shooting star right to left. That was huge. Right down, right where I was looking. Pew. When I say self-actualize, has a lot of high vibrational light and then a shooting star confirmation. Oh, another one, but that was smaller and it stopped right above my head. Self-actualize, I guess. But I want to say that I haven't found a right word for it because I want a deeper level of more, the type of energy I'm trying to talk about. I like to say coalesce. It helps you coalesce, or not really coagulate, not really condemn or condense, maybe condense. It helps you, the crows and being out in nature teaches you how to weave yourself back together constantly. And you learn about, I mean, I'm an 8th house Ophiuchus. My life is living in this etheric space, dealing with power dynamics and shared resources. It makes sense that my main challenge is fighting people for just to exist, fighting the world just to exist, because it wants to pull away everything that every Lego, all the Legos that I collect, people want to take apart and sell for themselves. I haven't figured out how to stop the crows because they change depending on the season and the day. They take it all in for themselves when they caw. They like inhale everything around them, and then when they caw, they spread their energetic influence on everything, and they try to keep everything in a state of unable to think, unable to move, and unable to function, because that's how they hunt. And they're a very old species. They're dinosaurs. They've been around for a long time doing this. Crows are dinosaurs or dragons. There's tons of Renaissance paintings where they show dinosaurs, that they were and the knights used to hunt the dragons. They didn't call it, what do you think they called the dinosaurs? Like, they found bones from back then. What do you think they called dinosaurs before we started calling them dinosaurs? They called them dragons. And knights would go kill dragons. And the way that the crows caw does seem like they're like, if you didn't really have they didn't have electricity, so they would call that energy fire. They would call it fire. The element of fire deals with creative passion and willpower back in the day. So when I'm talking about that, these crows sort of hoard all the gold for themselves and they breathe the fire, they're dragons, dude. Crows behave the same way that the English would talk about the dragons. So trying to defend yourself is futile. We just have to learn to live next to them. Well, we can't kill them, and they adapt so quickly to everything. They're a nuisance. I don't think they do anything for anything. Like, they don't really do anything at all. They just scream, and they go to places that have more good energy, and then they try to harvest it all for themselves. It's what they do. I don't really know how to beat them. Because even like the only time I've been in a house in the past 4 years overnight was when John Michael died, and I went to his mother's house the night before the funeral, and I was supposed to wake up and give a speech at his funeral, and I went to bed and I started dreaming, or I was taken out of my body, and I was in this realm where I was communicating in spirit to his family and their network, and they were telling me things, and they were laughing in the other room while they were supposed to be sleeping. They were giggling because they were communicating to me spiritually, and I was like confused and trying to fight them off and shit. And when I would fight them, they would start giggling. Like his mom would go, but then I transcended higher after that ended, and I was talking directly to my dead brother. And then I started just going through like this amazing dream. And then in the middle of the night at like 3 a.m, I'm snapped awake because there's a crow outside the window just trying to stop me from doing that, and like vacuuming the energy out, so I couldn't remember anything that happened. Like I can't, if I were to try to recreate the way that the energy was organized in order to get back into that space, I can't, but I can remember the vision that I had inside that space that was created. And the crow wanted to stop that from existing. And I think that that's my natural existence, is that type of higher dimensional energy. And I naturally always get to that if I'm left alone at peace. So even when I've escaped the world that used to, like, cops would show up with false police reports, even when I'm just sitting alone in my apartment back in 2021, they would show up every week convinced that because I had a Dodge Magnum and I was wearing Timbs and smoking Black & Milds that I must be running heroin in town because I was living in Section 8. I don't know. They could have just asked, and I would have said, hey, I made money on Dogecoin with pandemic unemployment assistance. That's what I think, but it also could be that the girl that I was seeing, people considered the most attractive in town. I'm not sure I feel that. I'm not sure if I think that's the case, because maybe superficially. But one time that girl laughed so hard she peed on me while she was sitting on my, basically like my stomach, and I was laying down, and then I just said something that made her laugh, and she laughed so hard she peed, bro. So maybe that's why I don't see her as the most attractive girl in town. Maybe because I know what she's like inside. She's like a schemy liar. She likes lying and scheming. But that makes me think, I think all women are kind of like that, not gonna lie. I don't know about defense against the dark birds. I haven't figured it out. But I know that over time I'm able to, like, I've created this bit of focus that survives. Like the tone of my voice gets high pitched, and then they come for me, and suddenly there's like I'm being hacked almost, and somebody else's consciousness starts to overtake mine. And then whenever I go to try to think, it's like I hear their voice and see them. Like I'm closing my eyes now and I'm seeing the rolling giant from Kane Parsons, and it's explaining to me that that's the Nephilim. That Kane Parsons is 20 years old and doesn't understand Saturn worship in the Nephilim, yet he's making art that influences the collective mind to understand Saturn and the Nephilim through the rolling giant and the back rooms. I literally closed my eyes and saw the giant's eye opening and explaining that to me in like a transmission. Earlier today, I tried to meditate because I was like, maybe it is, maybe I haven't really meditated in a long time. So I tried to meditate, and then I saw this dark vampire spirit eating me, like literally like chowing down on the back of my neck, and just like I couldn't make it stop. And when I blocked it and I tried to shoot it away, I was trying to be like, maybe Jesus is like this energy that like flows into that, where you close your eyes and you see yourself, your identity. And then with Jesus, maybe it like imbues that spiritual side so that you can fight back against it. So I tried to do that, and it wasn't really working great. Trying to make it stop or cut it or sear it, or like call an Archangel Michael to smack it down like the artwork. But there was like a dark spirit that sometimes I'll like close my eyes and get into this meditative space where I can recognize that there's a lot of dark spirits attached to me as well. That's why I say that everybody's in, that's what I'm trying to get at. With demon hunter, I'm not saying you have a demon, I'm saying that this stuff is just there, and it's a lot crazier than I think people realize. And the amount of work it takes to be exempt from that influence is definitely not something any of us have. That's because women naturally have moon energy, man. They harvest the illusion with their glamour. Oh my, that's true, WrestleMania. Oh my god, you watched the old Dispute? That series is insane. Yeah, bro. I couldn't watch it on my own, so I watched the Wendigoon stream with Kane and Alex from Mandela Catalog. I couldn't watch it by myself out here, man. I want my dream. The only like I made YouTube because I couldn't get a job, and I was trying and I couldn't, and then it was violent and people were coming for me out in the woods, and I was pretty sure I was gonna die, so I had to get 50 subscribers in order to live stream. But my dream was to make short films and eventually make TV shows and movies, and then I have a bunch of albums, and I'm always working on something. I wanted to make short films, and it just never really worked out yet. And it feels like we don't have a lot of time left. Like, I'm 26 now. I could try to move to a new place and pretend I'm 22 and start saying unk and bro does that. Haha. You know, I could try to assimilate into Gen Z to have the 22-year-old experience. If I don't do that, I'm sort of bound to be stuck with whoever isn't married yet. And whoever isn't in like a long-term relationship that already has a house and a family and shit. Like dogs and a house and a career. I'm sort of doomed at this point to be around whoever's left. Or I have to be like Leonardo DiCaprio and try to find some level of success and wealth and get buff and learn skills and make like try to do small things and then have to learn how to talk to people and then go try to find love with my mom's 10 years younger than my dad. So maybe I'll find somebody that's 20 when I'm 30. Oh, shooting star left to right. No, I won't. I guess I won't. Actually, to be honest with you, it was on my right side and it was just a big blip of light. It wasn't going away from me. And then the bird on my right side chirped. And now I'm seeing Sarah Safari. Why am I seeing Sarah Safari? A tomboy? I'll find a younger... Oh, Sarah Safari and Bradley Martin. Bradley Martin's like 12 years older than her. But he has like a gym and he's successful and he has like a YouTube show and she wanted to be... she started doing the same stuff and they actually were pretty cool together for a while. Right to left, shooting star. Okay. 26 is too old now. Unk status. I'm 26 and I think that the crows are dragons that are hoarding my spiritual gold and then breathing fire at me to defend itself. I'm 26 and I struggle to do the bare minimum. I mean, like, if you put me on a job site and tell me to sand a house, I'll do a perfect job and I just won't stop. I'll go for 10 hours a day. The only thing that stops me is if they start to say something to me and it like sticks in my head. And then every time I start thinking, I'm reminded of that thing that made me mad. And I got that from my dad. My dad bottles shit up and blows up. So instead of bottling shit up and blowing up, I will just leave. I'm like, I'll do this section, this section, this section. And then when that's good and I'm happy with how it looks, then I'll leave. And I'll come back. I'll go do something fun and then come back the next day. So that's why I worked 8 days in a row. I never worked under 8 hours. I think the longest day was like 7 to 6:30. With a 1 hour. No, I think we only took a half-hour lunch that day. And he bought a pizza. But because I spent like 30 minutes talking to his son about God and Jesus. And then the next day, his son showed up wearing a Christian necklace because of the conversation we had. But he didn't, because I didn't, I worked for a half hour and then I spent the next, it was probably only 20 minutes, but I told him that we just won't count he didn't want to count the hours, so I was like, whatever. I don't care if he steals that 20 from me. I guess he would be stealing $5 from me, really. $5 to $10. It don't matter, man. I said it was fine. But it wasn't that I wasted the whole hour. I just think it's crazy that I did the math. I measured the space, and I know the reference area, how long it took me to sand, was between 6.5 to 8 hours for 149 square feet of thick acrylic paint on wood siding. Because that day we worked, I think we worked 9 hours, and I left to go do around the garden with the electrical boxes outside the front porch, and then I did around the propane tanks, and then I did like a small bit of the corner of the porch, and then we got on the lift, and then because his son went home, and then he ended the day. He didn't want to do it. I think because we were both shaking the lift too much with our sanding. Because I'm probably like 100, I'm 200 pounds. His son is probably 110 pounds. So I think there was a difference to like the sanding stuff. So he ended the day. So I know it had to be between 6.5 to 8 hours of doing that 149 square feet. So when I did all the work that I did by myself after he disappeared and said he broke his ribs, and then a week later, after not responding to me, he said that he had a cold, and then he said he had COVID, and he was talking through the owner or the client and not responding to me, and the client was saying that he was saying to just do everything you can do on the ladder. So I just kept going, and then he withheld $60 on payday on the 24th, the last time I saw him, and he said he just didn't have it and he would pay me next week, and then I never saw him again. So I did 739 square feet. So with my 149 square feet reference at 6.5 hours, that puts me to 31.5 hours, and that would have 32 hours of work with 20 minutes of pad is 96 pads. I used 95 pads, and I have 31.5 hours listed. I did faster than what you'd expect, and I did a great job, and I don't understand why their first thing was to call me a liar and to say that he's only going to pay me for 19 of those 31.5 hours. I think that had to be, that 19 left over was probably something with overtime or something. I don't know. I don't know where they got 19, because it would be literally impossible to do 19 hours. Because the first day I did, I think, I'd have to check the notes, but I think I did 8 to 6:25 with a 1 hour lunch. And then the next day, I did, I think, 8 to 4 or 7 to 4. The day after, I did 8 to 4 or 7 to 4. It was 9.5 hours, then 9 hours, then 9 hours, and 8.5 hours or something. I think there was two 9.5s, a 9 and an 8.5. And that's not including lunch to do. I have it down. I have it down in a bunch of different places. Like I had it on a whiteboard every day that I got home, and I have it in my notes, and I have it on a piece of paper in there. But it was 31.5 hours and 95 pads, and that completely matches the amount of time that mathematically it would take if I worked at a constant, I never took a break. I would go walk at, like, after the 8th or the 7th day, my arm started to get really tired and started to hurt, and I didn't have a respirator. Even though he gave me one, I didn't use it. So my lungs were starting to hurt. I thought it was the vape. So I'd go drink the orange juice because my throat was dry, and I'd take a hit of the vape and I'd go back. But that was maybe a 2-minute break every hour and a half. And then on the last day, I was getting off the ladder, and the last day was just the porch and finishing up some stuff. The day before was the majority of the porch. So when I was on the ladder, I would be getting off and stretching pretty often because it hurt. But now I have to talk to the Department of Labor and take it to small claims court. And then I have to show him the proof, because I have proof. And then he ends up, because I have all the proof. It's not hard to dispute. There's nothing he could really say. And I didn't want to, I kept texting him, I don't want to do that, bro. Please stop. Because then when they go to court, judges are, they hate homeless people. They don't hate hard workers. So if I take it to small claims court and the judge sees what happened, that he disappeared and we don't know what happened, and then he didn't speak to me directly and instruct the client via email to, never told me to stop, at the very least. Maybe she was being dishonest about do everything you can do on the ladder so that I could keep going because she was worried about time. Maybe she was telling me that because she's also lying about my hours once he disappeared. She doesn't want to pay him. So in order to not pay him, she has to not pay me. I got a shooting star right to left for that. Is that she was mad at him, so she scalped my hours because she knew that I couldn't dispute it and he couldn't dispute it. So that's most likely what happened. Unless it's him, because he also did disappear for 2 weeks and then accused me of lying. And then I went off for, I think, 24 hours, just nonstop looking for proof and explaining what possibly could have happened. I couldn't get it out of my mouth. I was like, why the fuck is this happening? So I just kept going. And then he said, you're fucking harassing me, stop. And then he blocked me, dude. And then his wife posts pictures of them at the beach. And he's not there. I don't know where he is. But it was her and her kids at the beach. With my money. Because he makes $40. Every hour that I worked without him, he made $40. Because he makes $60 an hour and I get $20. So he was paid $60 an hour for every hour I worked. And I was supposed to be getting 20 of that. Instead, he just pocketed the $60 an hour that she had to pay him for my hours. She scalped my hours. So she still paid him 19 times 60. He still made, what's 20 times 60? He still made $1,200 minus 60. He still made $1,120 $1,120 he made from me. Probably more, and my math is wrong. And he just pocketed everything. So he didn't have to show up, and he made $1,200 for free. And I got none of that. And I did all the work by myself there. I worked 8 days in a row. And he says he's Christian. He was talking about how he gives people grace. And he goes to church and donates his time to the Salvation Army. You're full of crap, dude. Everybody's gone. My phone died. I was just processing. My muck boots. You shouldn't have. I got a wood stove they said was worth between $500 and $1,000. I had somebody that was willing to buy it. And then the guy goes, I don't feel like helping you today. They help get it. He goes, I don't really feel like helping. And he would be like, He would shit on me for my YouTube. There's just something that really... Something about being locked in the car. It's just a terrible time. Nice lesbian old ladies gave me these cherries. And I still have half an electric blue of Monster. Alright, enough dilly-dallying. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm still sore from yesterday, but I'm gonna try to do pull-ups, rows, dumbbell rows, lat pull-downs. Try to do more, because I'm getting back in the gym after an injury. My muscle, I'm able to press, like I can do 2 plates plus the 45 bar. I can do 2 45s. But the stabilizer muscles, like all the little ones, are really fucked. Like I would start to shake, even though I could push it up the whole way down and up. Like the little muscles are fucking shaking. Could be the nicotine. I don't know. Could be nicotine or something related, like nervous system damage. But I think it was just the stabilizer muscles are weak. So I've been pushing it down to 25s and just going like 20 reps each. Try to do like as many times as I can. This protein, I got the food shelf was giving away a ton of protein bars, and they said that nobody ate them, so they let me have pretty much all of them. So I had tons of these boxes of protein bars that I've been going through. Those Ideal protein bars are discontinued. The company's gone. Each box is worth $40. I've been just shoveling fucking protein bars. I've eaten probably like $1,000 worth of protein bars. I don't think anybody's ever gonna buy those protein bars. Like they're on eBay for $40, but I doubt anybody would really buy them. But yeah, it was a huge, I didn't realize that the food shelf had given me like $2,000 worth of protein bars because the company was discontinued and they're selling for 40 bucks each on eBay. Like I know I have over 30 times 40, it's 1,200. But I've consumed like half of them. But I still have $800 left, probably. I could try to put them on eBay. I'll see if they sell, or I'll reach out to the guy who's selling them and be like, hey, you're selling them for 40. I will sell them to you for 25. You can make 15 profit as long as you cover shipping. And I'll give you like 40 of these boxes. You could sell them over time for a lot more, but I just need quick cash. That might be cool. Yeah, I do think crows are dragons. And I think what they were talking about with hoarding gold and breathing fire was more spiritual. So I'm a modern day knight battling dragons. I got my omega-3s. I've had them for 2 months and I've never opened them. And then I found them again, so I'm keeping them in my car right here. Nicotine and geek bars and cigarettes and vapes damage your brain. If you smoke cigarettes and puff vapes, you most likely have a form, like, depending on how long, you have brain damage. You have actual brain damage. And I have actual brain damage now from excessive vaping. And the only way to fix that is fasting, sunlight, probiotics, ketosis, autophagy, neurogenesis, lactic acid in your shoulders, jump into a cold shower, push it up to your blood-brain barrier, and then only eating chicken and eggs. And then reading, writing, walking around, putting yourself in new environments. Before you go to bed, turn off all your electronics and spend a lot of time daydreaming and reminiscing and traveling through your memories to heal your neural plasticity. It's not as hard as it sounds. So even though I'm probably going to throw up, bam, look at this. I got this cool hat, man. Check it out. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I am saying? Anyway.
Where's my fucking Monster Energy drinks? I had a bunch of them, now I have no one. I had a lot of them left, man. I got like 6 of them the other day. Oh, maybe they're in here. I fucking found them. I got 3 left. I got 3 left. I got 3 left. I got 3 right to left. And I got toilet paper. And my car is a fucking mess, bro.
Zooey mama. And I'm like, why don't we talk about the economic state of the world? Why are we talking about drugs and sex? We could be talking about the economic state of the world, am I right?
Oh my god.
I put a trash bag in here specifically to clean. And then I buried it in more trash.
Mike Wazowski.
Every fat woman looks like Mike Wazowski to me. Or the
Mike Wazowski.
Alright. Are things gonna go well? In my favor? No. Are you sure? Yes. Well, fuck you. Is that because at the end of it, it's for a reason? A good reason? No. Is the coin real and honest? Yes. Are you a praying mantis alien communicating to me? Yes. Dude, people were ugly back in the day. Like, if you look at people now versus, like, what people, like, the founding fathers looked like, it looks like a whole different species of human. Like, we look like, the difference between the founding fathers and how people back then looked versus how we look now, it's like they were like a Homo eucalyptus or something. Okay, if I go to the gym every day this week and I walk 250 calories at least, and then I do some type of strength training, and then I come back and I eat healthy, and I drink a lot of water, and I take my fish oil, and I clean this whole property, in the next week, will I be on the right path? I knew that was gonna happen, dude. I knew I was gonna drop it. Let me find another one. What I said before. No. What if I just abandon all my trash here and everything and I hit the road and go on some journey to Los Angeles? No. What about Montana? No. What about Burlington? Yes. So I should try to get the work with the person in Burlington, and I'll stay at that 24-hour parking lot, and I'll get a gym membership out there. Yes. And then I go to bars and try to find a girlfriend. No. So you don't want me to stay here? Do you want me to stay here? Yes. Okay. Is the coin real? No. Maybe I asked wrong. Yeah, MTV, I turned 21 today. My 8-year-old nephew called me Unk. Everyone but me is retarded, okay? It's just the way it is. It's my world, and you guys are just living in it. It's my story. I'm the main character. It's all about me. That's why the KC Royals just beat the Angels in baseball, and that's why Loki, with the help of KC and OB, defeat KC Kang the Conqueror, and Loki sacrifices himself, the 33, and becomes the Tree of Life, the Acacia, or the KC. That's why Queso was Gamer of the Year, and Kai Cenat, KC3, is the Twitch streamer of the year, the biggest Twitch streamer. That's why Casey Neistat invented vlogging. That's why Casey O'Brien is the women's national hockey champion in America. It's because they're all just branches of my tree. And I'm some massive ancient soul. And you're all gay and you're retarded, and that's okay. But you gotta recognize that even though this seemed like an impulsive thought, actually, orange, when you add it up, if A is 1, B is 2, orange is actually 33. That's why, and also if A is 1, B is 2, capital G would be 33. And that's why the Gatorade logo, which it should be somewhere over here, right? This is Powerade. I got one somewhere I'll find. No, that's also Powerade. I'm trying to show you the G. There we go. Is this a Gatorade? No, it's a Snapple, I bet. I think that's my moldy Snapple. Somewhere in here is a Gatorade I'll find. I swear to God, I will find it. I consume enough Gatorade to have one. Okay, I'm gonna look. Oh, there were no Gatorades, dude. I would have never found one. I must have thrown them all out. I must have had a productive... Ah, there we go. That's why it's the G with the orange. 33, dude. Oh, and it also is orange. It's orange flavored. Which adds to the fact that this whole thing, even though it seems impulsive, was actually orchestrated long before this moment. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I can't see anything. Help. Help. Why don't you learn that? The Throat King says Burlington, Kentucky. No, Burlington, Vermont. It's like Kentucky, but it looks nicer, and the people are different, for sure. I want to play Logan in the new X-Men. They haven't cast a new Wolverine yet. I'd have to quit vape. I'd have to quit vape to be able to do it. I also wanted to play a young Robert Baratheon. The whore's pregnant. The whore's pregnant. The whore's pregnant. The whore's pregnant! I'll kill that dragon bitch! Rhaegar Targaryen is a bitch-ass loser! And they'll never take my land! Fuck! I'll swing a hammer! Robert Baratheon from the Bronx. Did you know that rattlesnakes are the only venomous because one was bitten by Chuck Norris? Bro, my mind is fucked, dude. I was trying to find a funny joke, and then and some type of alien came, or spirit came down and said, a Catholic priest once molested Chuck Norris and went to heaven. You dare enter my domicile? Insectoid?
I learned you something.
There's another one. Come over here so I can kill you. I gotta go to the gym, man. Get on in the Cotton Eye, Joe. What Jimmy does with that corn is of no significance to me. What's this? What the fuck did I just see out my window?
Bro, I gotta go to the gym. I gotta go to the gym right now, dude. I can't be doing this shit. I can't. I gotta go. I got things to do, man. I got things to do.
Mahoy manoy. Tung tung sa hurt. Tung tung sa hurt. Tung tung sa hurt. Tung tung sa hurt. Tung skibbity toilet. There's got to be somebody out there who is continuously pumping out skibbity toilet, tung tung sahur type entities, trying to be the next big thing to profit off the merch. Tung tung sahur, tung tung sahur. Do you think any like successful YouTuber has seen my face doing this and has just like scrolled on? I guarantee you, I know of one millionaire that watches my content, and I think that I hope he's trolling. He says he's not trolling because he sent me money before, but I'm like, bro, if you have more than $1 million, just help. It doesn't have to be this whole big thing, dude. I was thinking about it the other day. If I had more than $1 million and I ran into somebody like myself online, and I watched as long as the people have watched me, and if I decided like 6 months of my time, because he's a multimillionaire, so he's making a lot of money, I would just take whatever 6 months of that. Let's say he makes $200,000 a year, $100,000, because it would change my life for the rest of my life, and it would only affect you for 6 months of your life. And I've just never been in that position to do it, or I would. I've been in positions where there's a homeless kid who's in active addiction, and he's 23, I think he's 22, and he just wanders around town. I've been thinking about giving him my bikes that are in Randolph, Vermont for a long time. I have to go down to Randolph at some point to pick up some stuff. I'm gonna give him a bike for free. But these people with all this money don't, you know, if they watch my channel, I'm like, come on, dude, please. I could get a music studio going. I could get a camper and put a music studio in there with Starlink and a nice computer with a year's worth of gas and insurance, and still have $90,000 left over. Then I would get a piece. Sometimes you find like these these complicated land deals where it's like, people don't like you because it doesn't seem like you could raise a family there. It's really ideal for someone who wants to go sleep in a cabin tent and park the camper on like a small gravel easement inside. Sometimes those sell for $12.50. There's one for around $6K right now because you have to go on other people's property to get there, and half of it is in the wetlands. So it's just like a small forest bedded area, and you can't build anything on it for $6 grand. Like, I would go get that and then stay out there with Starlink in a cabin tent. And then I could get a computer. With the computer and the studio and all this, then I would just get a camera and a microphone and fix the car. I'd still have like $85,000 left. I wouldn't spend it, but I'd have it for bigger things, like maybe traveling to do a YouTube video where I interview people, stuff like that, or going and throwing this big event or something, or going out to Hawaii to learn from the Hawaiians, the spiritual stuff. And I'll just go to them and say, I'm not here to culture vulture for an identity change. I'm here because I think you have actual tools and teachings that would help me for the rest of the trajectory of my life. And unfortunately, I wasn't born into your culture, but if your culture is right, then of course I want to learn. Tung tung Sahara. Swim with a shark and go tung tung Sahara. That's how it would sound if I was underwater. Got my Holy Bible. Let's flip to a random page right here. I open it to Ezekiel 13. And the word of Jehovah again came to me, saying, Son of man, prophecy against the prophets of Israel. I have to sneeze because some higher vibrational entity told me to look over to a different one and to go back to this one over here. Anyone who plots evil will be called a master schemer. Foolish schemes are sinful, and people detest a ridiculer. If you become discouraged in the day of distress, your strength will be meager. Rescue those who are being taken away to death, and hold back those staggering to the slaughter. And now I'm seeing ice. If you say, but we did not know about this, does not the one who examines hearts discern it? Yes, the one who watches you will know, and you will repay each man according to his activity. My son, eat honey because it is good. It's pretty cool. Proverbs 24:13. My son, eat honey because it is good. Thus is the word of God. Honey from the comb is sweet to taste. Likewise, know that wisdom is good for you. If you find it, you will have a future. I think is it a metaphor for go to things that took a long time and a lot of care to build to find the sweet wisdom inside? Probably that's what they're saying. And your hope will not be cut off. Do not wickedly lie in ambush near the home of the righteous one. Look at that. Do not wickedly lie in ambush near the home of the righteous one. Do not destroy his place of rest. For the righteous one day may fall 7 times, he will get up again. But the wicked will be made to stumble by calamity. When your enemy falls, do not rejoice. And when he stumbles, do not let your heart be joyful. Otherwise, Jehovah will see you and be displeased, and he will turn away his anger from him. Do not be upset because of evil men. Do not envy wicked people, for there is no future for anyone evil. The lamp of the wicked will be extinguished, my son. It sounds like the shit I'm saying when I go on my schizo rants. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that dude. Let's see if they bring it to, if what they're saying is about heaven, that when they die it will be bad. The lamp of the wicked will be extinguished. My son, fear Jehovah and the king, and do not associate with dissenters, for their disaster will arise suddenly. Who knows what ruin both will bring upon them? These sayings also belong to the wise. Partiality in judgment is not good. Whoever says to the wicked one, you are righteous, will be cursed by the peoples and denounced by the nations. But it will go well for those reproving him.
Blessings of good things will come upon them. People will kiss the lips of the one replying honestly. People will kiss the lips of the one replying honestly. Prepare your outside work and get everything ready in the field, then build your house. Do not testify against your neighbor without grounds. Do not use your lips to deceive others. Do not say, I will do to him just as he has done to me. I will repay him for what he did. I passed by the field of the lazy one, by the vineyard of the man lacking good sense. I saw that it was overgrown with weeds. The ground was covered with nettles, and its stone wall was broken down. I observed this and took it to heart. I saw it and learned this lesson. A little sleep, a little slumbering, a little folding of the hands to rest, and your poverty will come like a bandit, and your want like an armed man. I'm not sure if it's because it's just so it changes so drastically at the end of this verse. I don't know if I don't know if the Bible is saying here to not talk about because there's a lot of do not judge others, and then it's immediately followed by judging others. I see a lot. Like this whole passage is about to be independent and do things by yourself, and not to worry about the bad things people are doing, and to just be outspoken about what's right. You know, go only like speak against what they're doing, but don't focus on them being punished for what they're doing, because God will do it. But then it immediately goes to condemning a stranger, and I'll say it again. Do not say, I will do to him just as he has done to me. And then it goes, I passed by the field of the lazy one, by the vineyard of the man lacking good sense. I saw that it was overgrown with weeds. The ground was covered with nettles, and its stone wall was broken down. I observed this and took it to heart. I saw it and learned this lesson. A little sleep, a little slumbering, a little folding of the hands to rest, and your poverty will come like a bandit, and your want like an armed man. So it's saying to be diligent in maintaining what you have. But I don't like that they address him as the lazy one. And there's two different people here. I passed by the field of the lazy one, which is by the vineyard of the man lacking good sense. It was overgrown with weeds, covered with nettles. The stone wall was broken. And it's essentially saying procrastination brings poverty, and diligence brings... Well, it doesn't say diligence brings prosperity. It just says that not doing your chores makes you poor and wanting great things. It's talking about your heart posture, not actually being a lazy person. And heart posture is like what you decide to hold in your focus. So like if I were to sort of like take something and then place it in my heart, that's your heart posture. Okay. The field and the vineyard are a metaphor for the insides of the mind. Of the inner world. I was flipping through the Bible asking for like where to stop, and I saw my hand turning a steering wheel. So it was turning left, and then I would go left, and then it would start to turn right, so I'd go right, and it settled roughly around this one. Like it's just one of these pages. May I experience, well, and I find comfort in them. I am seized with burning rage because of the wicked. This isn't God's book, bro. Who wrote Psalms? Is it just a bunch of Jewish people that probably didn't even know Jesus? Yeah, it's in this book. Where's the proof that God wanted it in this book? Some of the stuff I read, I'm like, who wrote that? And like, I know Romans was written by Paul, who knew Jesus. I just flipped to a page that said garlic. The chapter was garlic. Oh, it's the glossary or whatever, the index. Well, I opened to Mark 12:11-33. And there's actually a bookmark in it. There's a bookmark in Mark 12:11-33. I've never opened this. Like, I'll open it and flip through, but I'm never putting the bookmarks in. I haven't opened this in like 6 months. I don't know about it. I'm reading the New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures. I don't remember who gave me this. let thy will be done. The stone that the builders rejected, this has become the chief cornerstone. This has come from Jehovah, and it is marvelous in our eyes, that they wanted to seize him, but they feared the crowd, for they knew that he spoke the illustration with them in mind. So they left him and went away. The next they sent to him some of the Pharisees and the party followers of Herod, in order to catch him in his speech. On arriving, these said to him, Teacher, we know you are truthful, and you do not seek anyone's favor, for you do not look at the outward appearance of people, but you teach the way of God in line with truth. It is lawful to pay head tax to Caesar or not. I know this story. It's cool. So I guess when you get this, when they gave me this book, they had already marked it, and they marked Mark 12:11:33, not knowing how important those numbers, and that my cat's name is Mark as well. But it's about trolls. It's about, the Pharisees are like internet trolls.
The left-wing media.
Who you calling Pinhead? I wanted to star in I wanted to be in a Marvel movie, man. That was my dream in life. I wanted to be Wolverine. But I'm reverse Wolverine. He had exactly where I can't grow facial hair is where he has his facial hair. I wanted to play Robert Baratheon in a Game of Thrones series or movie about Robert Baratheon's life prior to Game of Thrones, when he was in love with Lyanna Stark and doing the rebellion. I wanted to play a young Robert Baratheon with the Warhammer, and I wanted my foster brother Caleb to play a young Ned Stark. And then I think I wanted to be some type of, there's no real Marvel character I'd want to play. But I think it'd be cool to be a young Wolverine. Are you content in life? My life is content. You're a Taurus? Do I have all messages on? Bro, it's a half-hour drive to the gym. I did not have all messages on. The orange rock guy from the one movie. Oh, you want the Thing from the Fantastic Four? Ben Grimm. Ben Grimm, man. Well, I thought if I did a different version of Cyclops that wasn't like a dork. A cool version of Cyclops I would have wanted to do. Or Magneto. A young Magneto. But Connor, KC, became Cyclops in the new MCU. But I thought it'd be cool to be Wolverine, man. Because Wolverine's supposed to be short, and I think I'm 5'9", but who's to say when I'm 35? Because Tony Stark is 38 in the first Iron Man, and Robert Downey Jr. in 2008 was 41 years old. He's going to be 61 years old in 2028 during Secret Wars. Which means Patrick McCallum, or whatever, is Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. They're probably fucking 90, dude. And they're still putting on the thing and playing Magneto and Charles Xavier. I think they've been done for a long time, and they don't want to do it anymore. I don't know how they're going to reboot the X-Men, because Magneto the entire Magneto character is that he's a Holocaust survivor. So canonically, to fit into the MCU, if they were to reboot the X-Men in the MCU, Magneto would be 80 years old. 1945 to 2025 is 80 years. So they would have to do something to make him a child. So he would be like 8 years old in 1945. And then something happens when he's 20. So he respawns like Captain America in the 2020s. So they'd have to make a Magneto that never experienced the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s, so that he could spawn at 8 years old in like 2008, so that he would be the same age as the new Professor X, which is a terrible casting. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking casting that dude as Professor X. Nobody's gonna want to watch that shit. That's why they had to get bad bitches. Terrible casting for Professor X. What the fuck are they thinking, dude? What the fuck are they thinking, dude? That guy looks like Ferb from Phineas and Ferb. But he doesn't. I don't know what he looks like. He looks like Bad Bunny. He looks like Bad Bunny. Okay, it's 1 in the morning. I'm gonna get to the gym at 2. I'm gonna work out. Then I'm gonna get back here at 5 o'clock. Try to throw as much shit as I can just into a pile on the other side of the camper, so that it's all condensed in one big pile of crap that I can work on, so that when people come up here they don't see it. I don't know what God's planning, but I know the Bible just said don't pray in the destruction of the wicked, but I hope some form of justice happens. I'm gonna go. Goodbye.